Hi everyone, it's your girl, Babala Brooke. I'm on my own bed, and it's the most fulfilling, most wonderful, wondrous feeling you can ever feel in your entire existence. The date today is it's only the 14th of June. Wow, it's the 14th of June 2019, and the time now is 2021, which means it's 8:20 p.m. on a Friday, and I'm in bed, and I love every single minute of it. I'm really just watching a TV show, but I just bought I have two different lip glosses on, and I was looking at the camera here because I'm too lazy to get up and go to the mirror, and then I was like, oh, let's just do a video. Why not? The reason I'm on my own bed is because I was gone for a month, as you may know if you're following my journey. If not, please check it out. I was gone for a month, and the month is over. Actually, day one of my training was May 16th, and today is June 14th. And I got back yesterday around noon or so. Therefore, I was gone for less than a month, if my math serves me well. A month actually I was gone for just under a month. So I got lucky there, hit a jackpot in that some people are gone for 5 weeks, some people are gone for 6 weeks. Some of the crew from my class from the training academy are still testing. Speaking of which, that's better news than just sitting here and just blabbering. After the month of training, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I just finished my commercial driver license training. I got my license, and then the company that hired me sent me on the road with a trainer. So I went over the road, as in OTR, and we traveled across the United States from California to our first load was California to Atlanta, Pendergrass, which is just outside Georgia. I always confuse the state and the city. Atlanta is the town, so my first load was in Georgia, and was from California to Georgia, Southern California, and then from there we went. From there we drove. I can't think right now, but what I really want to say is the first week of training with what they call a trainer or a mentor, just somebody who's going to familiarize you with real life tracking versus what you learn at the school. In our first week, you are sitting next to each other. You're doing all the driving. The mentor guy is sitting there mentoring you or talking, on his phone with his wife, whatever. Depends on what they're into, or they're falling asleep, or all of the above. And until you've driven for 50 hours, in which case, then you start teaming, operating as a team, which means the truck never stops. Again, it depends what your mentor is into. Maybe the truck will stop when it's the mentor's turn to drive. And then it'll run again when it's your turn to run. Meaning you're not operating as a team, you're operating solo. My friend, that may or may not have happened to somebody, Anyway, from California to Georgia, and then from there to Denver, Colorado. From Colorado is crazy. It's so beautiful. One of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful state that I've driven through. And I've driven through a lot of states. So beautiful. But the hills and the mountains and the windings and the passes, my friend, you have got to get your downgrading ready, or else it's a nerve-wracking. You can't be driving around with your foot on the brakes the whole time, by the way, because then they give, and when they do, you're going to be that runaway truck that uses the runaway aisle. And when that happens, Apparently, when the tow truck comes to get you, they don't just come and get you and take your details down. They bring the police. It's law. So if you're doing your research and you're watching these videos and you're embarking on that journey, you are going to be taught, or you had better figure out or get somebody to tell you while you're still starting out how to work the braking system, the jake braking, the engine braking, stuff like that. You'll notice when you drive through some areas across the states that it says no jake braking or no engine brake, which means you can't use the what we call jake braking, where it goes, the engine is just slowing itself down itself when it's really loud. But you can sit with your legs crossed while you're going downhill if you do that right and you do it on time. But if you try to do it at the wrong time and you're already on the downhill where they have those signs where the trucks are sliding down and just freewheeling down, girl, let's not even go there. So that's what you're gonna use a lot of if you're gonna drive through Colorado. And some areas it's like 10 miles of that. One place was about 40 miles of that. I think it's the Dana Pass around the Nevada, California area. Girl, that was crazy. You see how it was Nevada and then it was California and then it's Denver or Colorado, and then Virginia is crazy too. I mean, these are all beautiful places, don't get me wrong. I love the United States, but Virginia also has a lot of down hills, up hills, winding, and it rained when I drove through there. My person was asleep, of course. He's always sleeping, but whatever. So that's what happens. First 50 hours, you're being monitored. You got to take in everything you can, and hopefully your person will be giving you. A lot of companies, if not all of them, will have you trained. No matter how long you've been in the industry, they will have one of their own people train you, just so that you meet their own standard. Take in everything you can. From Colorado, we came back to California, and I drove through around Bakersfield type of area. I saw a lot of signs around there that said gushy winds. The fact that they're going to have signs that say that, it means it's an area for that, which is scary, because when you drive a truck and a trailer, they're high profile vehicles. Not high profile as in people in high places, but as in the profile of them is they're tall vehicles. So when it's windy, they do this kind of called fishtailing. They do especially if you apply your brakes, then you really dance around. So when that happens, you want to just remove your foot from the brakes and accelerator, and just the car will automatically, depending if you're going down or up. Hopefully you're not going down. If you're driving level or going up, then of course it's going to slow itself down, and that'll help it not do one of these. Just keep when you see signs like that, or even just see trees on the side of the freeway moving around a lot, keep an eye on your speed. I personally have noticed that when my speed is under 55, well, in California your speed is going to be under 55 because trucks with trailers, their speed limit is 55 in California. So, but I noticed that when my speed is under, like around 50, then I don't feel too bad. I feel kind of safe. And also because it's kind of slow, 50 as in 50 miles per hour, not 50 kilometers. That's about 80 kilometers per hour. When you drive at that speed, it's also easier for you to control the vehicle. What you do not want is to feel like you do not have control over the vehicle. I don't care what kind of vehicle you drive, what size, bicycle, wheelbarrow, nobody feels like they don't have control over it, because in that case it controls you, and that's very dangerous. Then we were back in Southern California. From Southern California we went, I think, kind of north a little bit, and then we went to Massachusetts. That's past Pennsylvania, passed Rhode Island area type. No, Connecticut was my first time passing Connecticut since I lived in Connecticut in 2012. So very nostalgic. I just woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom and I was like, oh my God, I'm in freaking Connecticut. And then I woke, and then I think next time I went to the restroom, I was in New Jersey. They're kind of next to each other. So Connecticut, New Jersey, past all of that, New York State into Massachusetts. And from there, went to Pennsylvania. And then, if my memory serves me right, just forgive me if it's not too consistent, because you just driving like a machine from state to state to state. Then it's morning, it's night, it's time difference, morning, night, Eastern time zone, mountain time, no, Pacific. It's just like. Then from there, we went to Ohio. Then from Ohio, they gave us a quick local job. So we did that like 20-mile run. And then from there, went to Tennessee, Oklahoma, moving western. And then went to Utah and Northern California. From there, to Ohio. The goal for the training is 200 hours. From Ohio, again, no, actually, I think this time we went to North Carolina. Yeah, went to North Carolina. And then spent the night in South Carolina. And then went back to North Carolina because we had to drop off a load and then go to sleep, come back and pick up another load at a different time, appointments. And they wouldn't budge, so we had to split our time. And then from there, I'm not quite sure what happened, but eventually we ended up going to Utah to deliver there, pick up somewhere else in Utah, Ogden, as well as I can't remember. And then we came back to California, and so we went to Georgia, came back, went to Pennsylvania, Massachusetts type, came back, went to Ohio, came back, went to Ohio again. Really believe that was what we did. And then we finished my 200 hours when I was in Texas. But that was just like the first stop of a trip that ultimately was going to Northern California. Likely, maybe I'll tell you another story in another blog, or in another video, or on the blog. But eventually, we ended up in Southern California, and I was just at about like 210 miles. Then they said that I had to come. So that was yesterday. Then they gave me an appointment for this morning to get tested to see if I learned anything from there. It's just like a DMV test. You're going to do a written section, and then you're going to do driving, including parking, backing. And then they gave me that appointment for today to do all that. 7:30, I was at the company. I did the written part. I knew I passed it before I got my results, because you know. And then from there, I got on the truck. I was like, oh wow, this is happening so fast. They gave me the key. It's a Freightliner. I trained in a Kenworth on the road, and when I was training at the academy, it was a Volvo. I hadn't driven a Freightliner before. I didn't even know how to put the key. In the Kenworth, you put the key in the left side. I think in a Volvo, you put the key in the right side. When you're facing the steering wheel on the right side like normal, but in the Kenworth on the left side, not like normal. Now this time, I think it was on the left side, but much lower than where you do in a Kenworth. So I had to ask the guy that's testing me, where do I put the key? And then after that, I said, where do I turn on the light? Because it was dark outside, and I wasn't going to take a chance and lose points on something like that. To cut a long story short, because we're running out of time, I passed that test. I think I'm the third or the fourth one in my group who has tested so far, and the third one who passed. So it feels wonderful, because I was one of the last ones to pass at the academy. So now I'm in my hometown time. That's why I'm at home, and in a few days I'm going to be given my own truck, and I'm going to fly solo. I will talk to you next time. I hope you gain something out of this video, or at least, if anything, it gave you an update on what's been going on in my life, because I've been kind of all over the place. I'm tired and I'm relaxed at the same time. Talk to you soon. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and please, post a comment. Keep me busy. Bye.